Hi everyone, it's Brittany from Paper and Stitch, and today I wanted to talk to you about keeping up with blog comments. This was actually a question from one of our readers who actually asked me a question on Twitter about this, was regarding time management, how you keep up with emails, blog comments, and all those kinds of things. And there's a lot to tackle with time management. So I wanted to just talk about one of those things today, which is managing blog comments and keeping up with those comments and sort of keeping in touch with the people that are interested in talking to you. So before I go any further, I should probably mention that there are two opposing camps on what I'm talking about here today. So there is, on one side of the coin, there are people who think that you should remain semi-distant, if not completely distant, from your readers, your fans, those types of people who might possibly buy from you, because it's important to just keep that relationship as professional as possible and sort of stay, solidly locked on being the knowledgeable person on the subject and not a friend, because the people on that side of the coin believe that your friends don't buy from you, and that's what they're trying to do is get you to buy from them. So if you're not going to buy from them, they're not necessarily that interested. So I've got to tell you, I am not a part of that side of the coin, I guess, so to speak. I really don't believe in that at all. I am very much a part of the other side of that coin, which is people who believe that you should create your business by building relationships with people. And I am very much I'm very passionate about that part of things and believe that that's really a great way to build your business. And not just that, but to just be very happy with who you are, because you've made sort of all these friends, I guess, in the process, and you're also able to build a successful business. So that's the side of the coin that I'm on, and that is hopefully the side of the coin that you are on if you're listening to this video. Otherwise, you probably should just skip it. So managing your blog comments. I think that blogs are super important to helping people build their business online. And I know that everyone hears that quite a bit. Okay, yeah, nothing new here, Brittany. We all know that you need to have a blog. But it's important that you use your blog in a specific way. And I'll talk in other videos about how you can use your blog posts to, help sort of market your business online. But what I actually am here to talk about today is just monitoring your comments and building those relationships through your blog comments. Okay, so that's what I'll be talking about. So how do you do that? It's really simple, really, really simple. I have WordPress, and if you have WordPress, I can tell you exactly how to do that, and it's very similar for other blogging platforms as well. All you have to do is go into your admin and check a little box that says that you want to receive an email every time you get a comment on your blog. Okay, so if you check your email as often as I do, which is probably like close to 100 times a day, I never close the thing down, then that is a great way for you to get notified when you have a new comment on the blog, or if something needs to be moderated, whether it's questionable, whether or not it's spam or a real person. So I get all of those kinds of emails sent to my business email address. So what happens is, whether it has to be moderated or not, I get an email about it. So if somebody commented and that comment was automatically approved, I get an email about it. If there is something that needs to be moderated and is questionable, I get an email about that too. So as soon as I see it in my inbox, I take a look at it. If it needs to be moderated, I decide whether or not it's spam and then approve it if it isn't spam, and mark it as spam if it is, of course. And then for the ones that are already approved, I read what they wrote, and then often I respond back to them. And this is a huge thing that people forget about, is when you have a blog, you want to remain active on it and allow people to have a conversation with you there, because they are telling you, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. And they put the effort into actually making a comment and letting you know that they're there. And so you should respond back and say, hey, I appreciate the comment. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again soon. And that's going to help you build relationships with people who potentially in the future could be your customers. So you can do this very easily at home on your own computer. Just log in to whatever blogging platform that you use and check that little box, or it's going to be different depending on what kind of blogging company you're using, and just find that. Make sure you have the emails marked, for you to receive them, so when you get a new comment, and then respond to those that you think are worthy of a response. So if somebody just stops by and says, great post, and that's it, you don't necessarily need to respond to that, although of course you can, and I often do. But when you start to get a lot of comments, you probably can't respond back to every single one that comments. But it's important to at least attempt to do that, and especially when somebody really reaches out and shares like their own story with you, or how they personally connected to what you wrote, or just leaves a longer comment. It's always a good thing to respond to those people, because they're obviously very interested in what you're doing, because they felt like it was important enough for them to actually write something. And let's face it, it doesn't take a lot of time or effort to make a comment, but and I'm sure you do this too, because I do it sometimes too. I'll go to a blog 100 times and not leave a comment, which is so bad. You need to leave comments. So I guess I need to practice what I preach here. But you never know if somebody's stopping by your blog every single day unless they leave you a comment every once in a while to say, hey, great post today. I really enjoyed that, and I was having a bad day, and now I'm feeling a little better. Those are the types of things that you want to take a minute to respond to and say, I appreciate you taking the time to comment to me, and now I'm going to take the time to respond to you. And you can do this just via email if you'd like. So you can just send them a personal note that says thank you, or you can respond to them back through the comments. Or you can do both, which is what I often do, especially if somebody, sort of pours their heart out in a comment. I like to leave them a comment on the blog, and then also write them a personal email. And it doesn't have to be hard here. This doesn't take a lot of time. All you have to do is copy and paste whatever you wrote in the comment, and then go into your inbox, find the email that you received from WordPress or whatever blog you're using, and paste that comment into a new email reply to that person. Press send, and you're all done. So that person just received a personal email from you that basically says the same thing that your comment said, and you could of course change that if you wanted to something more personal, if you wanted to share more info with them through email. But that's just a simple way to do it, and that way if they never visit that blog post again, they at least know that you saw that they commented and you appreciated what they wrote enough to write them back. And those are the people, once they receive that type of connection from you, that are going to come back again and again and again to your blog. And if you're using your blog as a marketing tool for your business, those people who like you are eventually going to want to buy from you, because people like buying from people that they like. So I guess that's going to wrap it up for today. If you have any other questions about blogging, or responding to blog comments, or anything in that realm, then just leave me a note in the comments below, and I'll try to answer it in my next video. Until next time, see you later, guys. Bye.